Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of CCWTX Chats. I'm super excited for this month. We're going to be highlighting some amazing women in leadership roles. So I'm really looking forward to it. Today, we have Erika Thomas with us today. Erika, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi. Hello, everyone. I'm Erika Thomas. I'm the executive director for Odessa Links. Odessa Links is a nonprofit here in the community in Odessa. Our role is to connect people to resources and to services in our community. And my job specifically is to grow and lead the organization, make sure that we continue to fulfill our mission every day, and just be a support for not only our clients, but my board, my staff, volunteers, and anyone else that we encounter. So that's a little bit about what we do.
Awesome. I will say that Odessa Links has always been helpful to the Crisis Center when we're looking for resources, and it's such a vital part of our community. So thank you, Erika, for what you do, and thank you for being here. So I will jump right in with our questions. So my first question is, as a female leader, has there been any barriers for you kind of getting to where you are now?
I'd say um, I'd say one of the biggest barriers I would encounter is not only being a female, but also culturally being a
Mm,
Hispanic female, and then being a young Hispanic female. So it's a triple barrier there, and it's really just um, it's not as common in the community. And so I think just kind of breaking that way and just saying, hey, like this is what I'm about, what I do, and I'm here to listen and participate, and just claiming that seat at the table as a young female leader. So and then once you kind of do those things, then it just makes it that much easier to work with some of those partners and people. And so I've been very fortunate that it hasn't been a negative experience, but it's definitely one. There wasn't always a blueprint available. So you kind of have to find your own path sometimes.
yeah, definitely. And I think that's really important, like saying it can be a barrier, but also you can create kind of change within atmospheres, being at the table and people being like, well, this, woman who's young and Hispanic can do it, right? Let's invite more in. So I think you're creating the blueprint, and that is so, so important for everyone around us. So. Okay,
Yes,
my
indeed.
next question is, has anyone ever told you you can't be successful or you're not good enough? And how did you react to that, and how did you grow from that?
I'd say yes, and I'd say it hasn't stayed with me as much as the people that have really just been that support and have been, they've been generous with that knowledge and experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know I've encountered, individuals, naysayers that, probably feel I shouldn't be there, or um, why my voice matters. So in those instances, I think, my reaction was really just to kind of brush it off and know that not everyone's going to be in my favor, and that's okay. And so I think it's just reaffirming it's okay, but here to stay, and we're still going to make that impact and do what we can.
Yeah, and I think that is really important, like keeping those people that do provide that positive energy close to you, and those people that don't, they can leave your life because you don't need that. And I
Exactly.
even, if it's, and I think it's an important lesson to teach young girls that it's okay to say no, and it's okay to say, this is not okay for you to say to me, and cut
Yeah.
ties.
Yes. And actually, one of my board meetings yesterday, I really love this. One of my board members said it's not so much a reaction, but it's reaffirming. It's
Mm,
reaffirming, hey, I'm I'm here. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm about. And take back that power that you sometimes give in a reaction. It
mm,
doesn't have to be about that.
yeah, yeah, awesome. So my next question is, what would you tell a young girl who's struggling to find her voice, struggling with her self-esteem, and struggling to find her place in the world?
So I would say, I think we get sometimes in a hurry to grow up and to have it all figured out. I would say give yourself time to sit still, to stand
Mm,
still long enough to have that stability, have that anchor, and to to recognize this is what I'm about, this is what I'm not about. Um, and I think just keep reaffirming to yourself, like, I am worthy of these things that are happening. And if things aren't happening, that's okay, because they will eventually come and it will always work out, I promise.
mhm.
So I think as far as self-esteem, it is just, you have to love you. And sometimes that is a long journey and it's a long road to arrive there. That's okay if you take the scenic route, but just know it is very important, because people recognize that, they see it. And if you love you, people are going to love you too. And sometimes if you don't, people will still love you. And those are the people that you want to continue to be around, because they will definitely help grow that self esteem and keep reaffirming that you are someone special, unique, and you are needed in this world.
Yeah. And, I think that's something I could have used when I was younger. Like someone just telling me, it's okay to not have it all right now. And, things will pan out in the end. And it's all about learning and growing. It's not about having it all at once and, being happy about it. That doesn't work like that for anybody. So I know when I was young, I wish I had kind of that person to tell me that, or, that piece of advice given to me. So if you could go back and tell your 12-year-old self something, what would you tell her?
I think it would be not to worry so much. I was always very like cautious, very
Yeah.
worrisome. Um, And I think it just, again, it takes you out of being present, because if you're
Mm,
worried, you're probably thinking very far into the future. And I think we get so wrapped up in the pressure of, I have to have it all figured out, I have to have a plan.
yep.
Yes, those things are very important, and definitely encourage, to do those things. But it's okay if you deviate from that plan. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out in one night.
Yeah.
um it's okay, so be present, don't worry, we're gonna get this in the end. It all works out, so just enjoy the ride, be present in all those moments.
I love that. Just enjoy the ride, right? Look at where you are right now and savor those small joys.
Of
I think that
course.
is so important. So, my next question for you is, who inspired you the most in your life and why?
So well I'd say my parents. We grew up together. I would say my parents
Mm,
had me at a very young age. And I think specifically, of course, a relationship a daughter has with her mother, it's just one you can't compare. And so, um, I'm gonna focus on my mom, because she has been very encouraging. She definitely poured a lot into me, and definitely walked the walk. I remember us, taking classes together. I was in college and she was
mm,
enrolled in college. And so that shared experience, not many people have that, or have that foundation to pursue an education.
yeah.
She is a business owner. So seeing that, that blueprint sometimes is very important, because you see how far you can reach. And so I've been very fortunate to see how far my mother's been able to reach, how far my parents have been able to reach. And so it makes it that much more achievable and attainable. And I recognize that it is my job, um, not only as an employer, but as a friend, as a member in the community, to keep sowing that seed to others. How far can we reach?
Mhm.
And so I think that's very inspiring. And if we can definitely share that message, then we'll definitely see our community and our youth and whoever reach the highest of their potential.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I know it can kind of be a personal question, but thank you for sharing that, and I appreciate it. So, with all the things that you have going on and all of the amazing things that you do for our community, do you personally engage in self care? And is that important to you?
Yes. And I will say, I will be the first to say I'm guilty of not fully indulging and engaging in self-care.
Mhm.
And my staff, they recognize that, and they know, like, hey, like, you know, maybe take a step back, or
Yeah.
um I think there's a big culture in priding ourselves in being overly productive.
Mhm.
Yes. Like burnout is some great badge of honor, or, I stayed up till this late, or things like that. That should not be the norm. We need to take that time out. We need to re-gauge our mental health, our emotional health. All those things help us be, just be centered, and be good at anything that we do. And so for me, self-care is, getting out of town, or sometimes, again, sitting still, um, doing things in the yard, or just having a brunch with friends, hanging out. Those are great ways for self-care. And I will say, I definitely, I use all my cards for self-care during this time,
Yes.
because it's just definitely a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things. And so I made sure that was one of the things that I did engage in, and made sure I was, out on a bike, exercising, doing things like that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, self-care is really important. And, during this time especially, there's a lot of stress, a lot of worry going on in our community and all over the world. So engaging in self-care and taking care of yourself is so good, because if you're not good, you can't serve other people around you. So
Exactly.
it is
Yes.
very important. Erika, thank you so much for sharing wisdom with us today. I appreciate everything that you do for the community. So thank you for just being here with us today. I appreciate that.
No, thank you for having me. This is so important, having these conversations. I'm excited to see all the other participants, and I'm here for anything that y'all need. And thank you as well for everything that y'all do.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for watching. Go ahead and like this video on our YouTube, and don't forget to subscribe. Y'all have a good day. Bye.